Picking right up at the Hermit Crab Victory Feast, there was much more to do with Thistletop claimed. First and foremost, rooms had to be designated for Das Corvett to possibly claim, as per his deal with Sandpoint. Then, all the treasure needed to be divided between Sandpoint and its angels. From there on, the Angels of Sandpoint are able to spend 3 weeks focusing on various things in no particular order. Wait, that's it? Only 4 lines? I haven't gotten any voice lines since episode 11. I get more in the next arc, you say? Well, good things do come to those that wait, they say.
At the barracks, Zurdan and I took care of paperwork following up on Auric and Lyrie. While we didn't get any news on Auric's past, Lyrie was another matter. She's a wanted woman by the Pathfinder Society in Magnamar. Allegedly, she killed 2 of her rivals while applying for membership into the society. Lyrie denies the killings, and the known evidence is circumstantial, so the whole of Sandpoint's guard is hesitant to send her off to face Magnamar's justice. Knowing what some of the judges in the city are like certainly makes me hesitate, even if I'm not sure she's being completely honest with us. With a little pleading from Auric, the Sheriff, Zurdan, and I chose, for now, to postpone sending Lyrie to be put on trial. We'll do our own investigations, and keep an eye on the newcomers.
I needed to speak with Father Xanthus, so I went to the cathedral to be certain the Gesh was removed. He attempted a ritual, and confirmed that I am freed from the Gesh. I then make my leave to the lumber mill to sort out my deal with Benny and Ebor. Whilst celebrating our victory over Thistletop later this week, Benny requested my service for he and the Pillbug's daughter, provided that I don't speak of their affairs. Ebor, on the other hand, wanted to take full advantage of my lifetime service. However, I will be certain that it is quickly spent.
During all of this, I looked for Sava's armory to get a replacement butchering axe since Noalia destroyed my last one. But it turns out she didn't have any more, and a magic one was too damned expensive. So I bought back that old one so that I could have some money for a new place to live. After hearing this, Sava offered to let me rent out the place behind her shop.
As the day carried on, I wanted to maximize my office hours. Studying Nualia's mythic potion with Shaylee's assistance, I was able to produce my own version of the mythic potion. Left with only one more test for this fate-defying potion, I quaffed it. I was flooded with mythic power, but also received some side effects I need to... Oh no!
Ending the day back at the Rusty Dragon Inn, I was writing letters to my friends and family when, unexpectedly, my mother, Alexandria, decided to teleport directly to Sandpoint. Embarrassing parent talk aside, Mother was greatly concerned about my new mythic power and the Sahedron Medallion. After Ranrua slithered in for her usual dinner, I asked her if we could examine her Sahedron Medallion. After an odd introduction, Mother did, and found it was a common Sahedron amulet, and that perhaps more powerful Sahedron artifacts are still waiting to be discovered. With the prospect to examine the rune well beneath the town, Mother rented out the entire Rusty Dragon for a month, and will likely be around for a while. Maybe I could take the opportunity to ask her some more personal family questions.
the day after the party. Uxio, how about you just wake up early while Amiko is prepping and you just step out for a minute? Like, that's not weird at all.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we did establish before that Uxio is an early riser.
You do arrive at the temple. It is an early morning. Xantus is probably the first to rise. You arrive, call for, I'm assuming, a private session?
Yes.
Fortunately, this is one of the days where he absolutely can clear his schedule for the next hour.
And when he does see Uxio, Uxio is squirming in the way that he normally does in a church. He doesn't have anything against the gods. He just has never felt comfortable in their houses.
Xantus, I think, knows Uxio. He knows Uxio's a good boy, too. You absolutely know he is trying to spare your feelings. Uxio, I actually need to tend the garden. Would you like to stand outside with me and help me do those various chores?
Thank you, Father. That sounds nice.
There is, in fact, a garden, because of course there is. And it's over here.
Isn't that the cemetery? I think like the garden's in this little courtyard here.
There's a garden in the cemetery. Shut up.
That's also where the festival was being held. Is that courtyard area that you try to call it Uxio? That's not part of the temple.
My bad.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
We'll say like you're tending the gravestones too. Like it's just various like grave.
It's busy work outside.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I suppose I should explain why I have come, Father.
As he's doing his visually interesting tasks, of course, because he's like, may I take a guess? I'm guessing, I have been told by Hecht and the others that you've gained mythic powers, and they are tied directly to your bloodline.
Exactly as I feared before we went to Thistletop. And I don't think Hecht saw what happened, but after that deep breath, he recounts the goblin ration incident, where without even realizing it, as they were walking past a room where goblins chopped up people for food, he went in there, grabbed an arm, and started drinking.
Hecht actually did see that and told Father Xantus.
Hold up. Roll perception.
All right. You know what? I don't think he would be in Falcon mode for this. I'm going to turn that off real quick, dropping it down by 4.
Probably not, yeah. Oh my god.
It's still a 13 without Falcon mode, so...
Your guys' skill checks are stupid. This is... Alright.
I mean, that's the big benefit of being a feral hunter.
Right. To his credit, if he did not know this, he doesn't show it. He just kind of takes what you said in stride. And he kind of, like, responds very therapeutically. And how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you need to feast on my innards right now?
No, but... You mind if I just roll a general d20? If it's slow, Uxio's had some dreams.
Sure.
Alright, so upper mid and probably just worrying, but not, oh god, what is happening?
Not dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. Just, well, fortunately for me, the essence of undead is within the realm of the divine, and mortals who do not seek to become undead, even if they become undead, tend to turn out better than those that don't. Your bloodline stems from the shadow planes and the negative energy that it provides. But so long as you keep one step in our world, I don't suspect you will become corrupted by those shadows. I believe in you, Uxio. I think you'll turn out fine, but if you are truly worried, I'm afraid in terms of mythic influences, I don't know too much about it. But I suspect that even if you were to become a full undead, I believe the world would not be worse off for it.
You figure I'd end up becoming the monster that fights monsters, in other words.
There are career paths for it, and very, very complicated philosophies based around it that I have seen and dabbled in. I'll admit I picked up a book or two from the Far East shortly after you came through our doors.
Uxio is confused about how the Far East plays into this, but let's Father Xantus speak.
I'm thinking like that's... if I recall, there are lands out there that, like, philosophize over stuff like that, like neutral undead.
There.
Yeah.
Personally, I did not know that out of character, so I don't expect Uxio to know it in character when he's got zero religion.
I have picked up books and I have spoken with others, and though some may react strongly, but I think your actions speak volumes, and the fact that you're even talking to me about it now says more about your character than anything else.
Thank you, Father. I still have some concerns, but speaking with you has helped.
I say, so long as you were with the other angels, and as long as you actively meditate on these matters, perhaps, remind me, I don't recall, do you worship? Do you pray?
I do not. I have nothing against the divine, but as an easy reference, Smokey and his rangers, Erasto would probably be the one that most readily I would fall in with. But something about his doctrine has always felt too rigid, confining. And this is me basically saying in character that because Uxio is a more chaotic entity when it comes to his morals, lawful good Erast still doesn't quite fit him. Basically, Uxio, the ones that match his alignment do not match what he is part of as basically like a woodsman. Those that do match what he is a part of don't match his alignment, so he has never felt one that fits.
Okay. This is a bit universe breaking, but I like this idea. So, Xantus, he says, I recall a story from the World Wound of a heretical demon.
Oh, yeah?
I know what demon you're referencing.
Yeah, who fought against her nature. It wasn't easy, but eventually, through Desna, she arose from the chaos of the abyss. Perhaps, and I don't want to encourage, but perhaps you might want to look into it. And from his pocket, he produces a Desnan butterfly and palms it into your hands like you know, like a priest would. Like he grasps your hands like warmly.
Right.
And puts a Desnan butterfly in it.
I'll consider it, Father. Thank you.
And if I recall, he does give you a sly smile. Amiko and her friends are followers of Desna. Perhaps talk to
You
her.
recall correctly.
He gives a sly wink. And perhaps some such wisdom could come from them.
It certainly wouldn't hurt. Thank you, Father.
He says, "You're welcome." And as you know, it is customary to donate to the temple whenever services are provided. But I think, and he gives you like this really cheeky pat on the shoulders. Perhaps you could finish up these chores for me. And he hands you the spade, the clippers, and the watering can.
Before he leaves, Uxio is going to ask, when I'm done with this, is there by chance a way up to the roof of the chapel?
Like almost risking the joke. My, roosting already.
No. And he's gonna hold out his hand, and feathers actually kind of grow along his fingers. He says, I feel like my connection to nature has grown recently, and I want to try something.
Very well. Just mind the sigils as he points to the holy symbols engraved around the church.
Right. Once the chores are done, Uxio is going to head to the top and actually jump off of it, and partway through, I clicked wild shape because that's what he's going to be doing, and turning into an eagle. And just fly over Sandpoint.
He could do that already? At level 4?
It's a 4th level ability, same point that druids get it.
Nice. Alright, Altair. there you go.
I mean, you're not wrong about that comparison, but... I am the first member of the party to fly!
And now you've unlocked Sandpoint in your world map.
You can see quest markers.
Also, for some reason, you have to collect flags now. I don't know why.
It's really annoying.
Ameka would probably see Eagle land in front of the Rusty Dragon later, and then Uxio knocking on the door to be let in.
She's like, letting strays in again. Zurdan, is there anything you would like to do?
Okay, well, aside from, like, doing general maintenance and such, since I'm kind of keeping tabs with, like, Dawes' smithy, since I did send some stuff over to him, and as far as, like, other things, I'm kind of also figuring out my new mythic power, the whole Ghost Rider ability.
Okay.
Yes, so I guess it could have happened to where I'm, like, checking over evidence with, like, Lyri's spellbook and, like, wait, what? When did this get here? And I'm looking over my formula book.
Oh, you don't know about the Ghost Rider.
I like this spin. I'm gonna tell you, I really like this spin.
I never in my life would have considered, like, an involuntary Ghost Rider.
Well, at least at the start, because something's gonna tip me off to say, like, oh, this is like your new ability now. Like, aside from being able to punch shit really, really hard.
No, that's just really, really funny. I never would have considered this to be like a RP plot point, how a ghost just, like, shows up and follow you. Oh.
So Zurdan is just sitting in lockup, trying to take care of evidence. And he has a stern look on his face as he tries to calculate the quarters and such of this contraband.
Yeah, okay. You are taking contraband and you are looking through all of the evidence. You're gonna need to give me a perception check, because as things are happening, shit's getting weird. Like, just
alright.
Kind of a...
But I do have this, right? Or, wait, hold up. I'm not... There's the button. I have that, right?
You have your magnifying... Yes, you have the magnifying...
Okay.
Yeah, so you're in the barracks with Hemlock, and you guys are basically going through things. You're working things out, and every so often you'll turn around and, like, a whole page of notes has just been filled out for you. And like, as you're processing, Hemlock will be like, all right, give me the reports for this or whatever.
And
that report's just done.
Like, already on his desk.
Well, it's written out, and it's in front of you. And you notice that you did not write this.
Sir, as I kind of hand over, although I did get this done, and I'm kind of looking at the writing to see if it's actually my writing.
With that perception check, it definitely looks like yours. And now, Zurdan, of course, being a professional, is incredibly meticulous. He gets all that done. But once in a while, you know, he is half human, and to err is half human. There are no errors on this paper. Like, it is pristine. To Sheriff Hemlock, he doesn't notice, but you do.
And another thing, like, Because I somehow got the report done, but what? It's like more than just one page, right?
Yeah, there are like the current task that you were doing is finished. It's completed with one individual piece of it. You like I'm trying to figure like the processing of all of the evidence has been filled out. You handed it to him and Sheriff Hemlock was like, "Wow, that was fast."
Yeah, because I was noticing that myself, and honestly, I'm almost concerned that it wasn't me doing this.
He picks it up, like crinkles the paper. He's like, "It's definitely in your writing," and he flips through a couple pages.
No, like, notice how long that took, right? Because that was like, what, like a few minutes versus what would normally be like, what, 15, maybe 20?
He's like, what are you saying, son?
Something written in the report for me, and it has an uncannily precise writing to where it's almost like me.
Are you saying
Something's afoot?
A shrimp fried this rice? And he starts thinking, it's like, okay.
Quick. Humor me on this. How about a full-blown inventory log of the lockup? Like, top to bottom, every single piece of copper that was used.
He says, all right, sure. Like, you're offering to do another one, correct?
Like a bigger one, to where, like, if this somehow gets done, like, sooner than expected, something's going to be assumed, like...
It's like, I think that potion you took is getting to your head, but sure, let's see what's happening.
And I go to proceed to put down the paper and my quill and, like...
Alright, so it's a case of you look at it, and as you're looking at it, nothing's happening. But in the odd moments where you guys, like, rub your nose or rub your eyes or look away, more notes are being added.
Oh.
And let me see if, like, it's... I don't know Hemlock's perception. I'm just gonna give him a 6. Well, I didn't really see you pick up the quill. Are you doing some weird magic thing? Boy, are you messing with me? Like, what is happening?
No, I am flat out serious. I think something is going on here since I took that potion, and... I don't know, because I know Uxio and Bella have their powers where they can essentially just will themselves to heal on that, but I think this is kind of like a new one to where essentially it just...
He's
wait a minute. Okay. There's one thing I think will solve this issue. As I kind of go into lockup and pull out Lyree's spellbook. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, it takes a while for any wizard or spellcaster to write down a spellbook, or let alone a scroll, correct?
He nods.
Alright then. So, I'm gonna proceed to pull out some of this stuff I'm needing to add to my formula book. And if this gets done faster, then clearly something is up. Because this would normally take, like, I don't know, whatever the rules say for a freaking spell, but it's longer than a couple of minutes, yeah.
Okay, so you take Lyree's spellbook, you put it on the table, and you open up your formula book, you also put it on the table. You're showing him very slowly, or, well, maybe not very slowly, because, like, Zurdan's a little neurotic at the moment, I guess.
And, of course, I kind of have to still look at the page of the spell that I'm trying to copy down.
Alright, you guys step away for a second, you walk outside the room. You then come back in, and within a matter of minutes, one of Lyree's spells is copied into your formula book.
And I'm looking at the ink pot in that, because it's a certain ink in that to put that down.
You grab your magnifying glass and you have a little marker and no ink was used.
Oh dear God!
Hemlock loses it. He's not humorless, but he rarely cracks a smile. He is doubling over and just cackling as hard as he can. He has lost his breath. He is laughing so hard.
Oh, by all means, enlighten me to the humor of this joke.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and he's like, okay, your friends got magic bullshit powers that let them defy fate and fight better, correct?
Right.
Go figure, Zurdan Okur gets the mythical ability of bookkeeping.
Oh God. I mean, I might like the ability to just smash shit in that, but oh God, this has so many uses. As I'm kind of looking at the spell book, my formula book.
He's not really bothered by this because he doesn't care about the nuances of spell casting, but he absolutely is smiling ear to ear. It's all right, dude. All right, Zurdan. I'm gonna let you and your friend here take inventory and do what you guys need to do. You know what? I'm going on a date. He just kind of slaps you on the shoulder.
You sly dog.
He slaps you on the shoulder and says, you can handle this here with your friend, right?
Yeah, okay. Oh, but seriously though, Sheriff Hemlock, I certainly hope that you have a good time with Miss Tisserane.
I don't know what you mean by that, as he, uncharacteristically smiles and just kind of leaves, and he says, I'll leave the book to you, my friend.
Alright, and your secret's safe with me.
So, Zurdan, you are now alone with your friend. What's going on?
I'll try to beckon this ghost into answering me somehow.
Beckon, as in, you're gonna call out with your voice?
Mysterious writer, I command you to identify yourself.
Nothing happens.
Could you perhaps write on this paper to explain the situation? As I kind of plap it on the desk.
Nope. Nothing happens.
So I'm sitting down with the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I command thee, complete this paperwork. And I pull out hourglass.
Alright.
Glancing between hourglass and freaking books.
While you're watching the paper, nothing happens. But when you glance at the hourglass and look back, it's like a weeping angel. It's like words are being written as you're not looking at it.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, the words that are being written, again, they have nothing to do with what you're trying to do. It's just copying down information for the paperwork. You know what I mean?
Right. Alrighty then. So
you can attempt a couple things. You can attempt some kind of check. I'm not going to tell you what, because I want to see. I want to see ArtofWar figure this out. This is fun for me.
I guess Knowledge Arcana, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, because this is definitely some sort of magical bullshit. So,
Howdy.
But before I do this, I'm going to try to really make sure I get this right here with heightened awareness and tears to wine.
Okay. I like to imagine that like you're prepping your potions and stuff on another part of the table, and every once in a while when you glance over, more paperwork is done.
Okay. But now that I've untaken all the stuff,
Okay.
I will now proceed to put my hand in my chin.
Give it the big
Do
think.
that thinker.
Big
Big
think.
think!
Big think. Roll it. That's a big think. Yep.
Inspiration.
Ooh.
And
It's a very
you know
big
what?
think.
Because I still have mythic power, I've seen people do this.
He's going for 40.
He's going for 40
Ah!
points.
Too bad he's not a
point
mega
short.
mind.
You do not reach
So
galaxy brain.
close.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat it as if you're taking 20, and this is going to take you all day, okay?
Okay.
So what's going on is you are getting more and more pissed off as you are trying to catch this thing in the act of writing. And this is like some like Three Stooges Scooby-Doo shit happening right here. Like as you like opening the fridge, closing it, you know what I mean? Trying to see the light bulb. And finally, after you're quaffing various potions, taking various and you're like drinking wine, you know, as you
Yeah.
would. And finally, in the middle of your frustrations, you just kind of slam your head on the table, and then as you pick up your face, the wine finally gets to you, and that you get the drunk ass thought, maybe it can't hear you. And the piece of paper that you slammed your head on falls off, and it gently floats onto the table, and your quill is next to you.
Okay then. So, if I can't talk to it, I write down mysterious writer. Can you see what I'm doing? And I don't know, I guess I set my quill down.
You set the quill down, you're looking at the paper, you sigh, look away for a second, look back at the paper, and it says, hello.
Hi, mysterious writer, I write. Can you please tell me your name? And why are you here?
You do the look away and look back again. It says, greetings, my name is Zurdan Okur.
I write, you mean to say you are me? Question mark. Looking away.
You look back. I don't know what you mean. I am Zurdan Okur. Is that your name as well?
I write down, yes, that is my name. I mean, it is somewhat common among the elven community, but still, that is very ironic and concerning.
You do
Turn away again.
Yeah, you come back, and it says, "That's so fascinating. I'm not Elvish though. I'm from Corvosa, and I learned at the Academy."
I write down. So you are saying that you went to the academy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but would you happen to have attended 9 years ago? Question mark?
You look away, look back. Funny you say that. That's exactly correct. You're so smart.
Well, okay. Tell me. You know what? No, I do not want to be digging into Corvosa, because that was just... Ugh. Okay. By chance, does your family have an extensive merchant trade route?
You get the response, "You're very knowledgeable. I'm surprised anyone actually knows that. And then, like, it gives, like, a small summary of basically your life.
Even the parts I haven't told other people.
Perception.
Okay. And this is all still while I'm high on wine.
Yeah, like you've taken, like, 8 kinds of drugs right now.
You're on brain drugs.
Brain drugs. This
Oh,
is...
wait, I can't roll that yet.
The
So.
funniest part is just how much Zurdan is failing to realize this is his own power.
You're basically Sherlock Holmesing yourself.
Retreat to the Mind Palace.
Okay.
Not that you noticed. There's some parts that are a little odd, like, in terms of, like, yeah, someone who doesn't know you probably wouldn't know this. You know what I mean?
Unless they were actually there in my childhood or actually with me in the academy and...
Yeah. Essentially, like, nothing too intimate is being shared. But then again, Zurdan, as in you, are kind of a private person as well. And if I recall, you didn't really enjoy your time in Curvosa, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, let's go with something that I haven't really revealed to anyone.
Okay.
I kind of pick up the quill.
Mhm.
By any chance, do you not have the ability to swim? Question mark.
Okay, I like this. You get no additional bonuses, okay?
Okay.
Give me a persuasion check.
Which would be linguistics?
Yes.
Okay.
God damn.
Well, it's without all the buffs that I normally get, so...
That's absolutely correct. I cannot swim, it responds.
Oh dear God. Holy shit. I'm kind of holding my face in my hands. I then proceed to write. I don't suppose you are willing to assist me in any writing that I do.
Responds, I love writing and bookkeeping. I can handle all this for you if you want.
I then proceed to write, that would be greatly appreciated. Though, how would I request writing if I'm not actively at a desk or writing directly to you? Maybe a knock on a book? Question mark?
Are you asking how to like
how do you do your writing? Like, do you
How do you function?
like do you write whatever I am working on, or if I were to write out
it
particular
basically
book?
it basically responds, it says, I'm currently in the basement or the cellar of Sandpoint's barracks. Like, more elegantly than I stumbled through that sentence, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah. So he says, currently I'm here. I may decide to go somewhere else later, or I may decide to take a nap. I don't know. I'll see where the day comes.
So I write down, fair enough, but how would I contact you if I really needed something to be written? And with question mark.
It responds, just write the request and I'll handle it. And then it kind of gives what you suspect is a smiley face. Like, it's like really eager to write. Just give me things to do and I'll do it for you.
Fantastic. Smiley face, thumbs up. And
You get a response, was that a thumbs up? It uses
yeah, I tried to put a twist on what you did there. Anyway, I was hoping to get a copied list of Lyri's spell book, as far as the spells I could put in my formula book.
It responds, you got it. It'll take me most of the night, though. I think I do need to nerf this ability. It will take most of the night, yeah. But he'll do it.
Fantastic. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, friend. Smiley face.
He says, absolutely. I'll be working on this tonight. I'll have it finished for you by morning.
Wonderful.
You guys head to Kendra's house. She has got a lawyer there. You guys are standing around Amiko for support. Kendra has got the last will and testament of Mr. Kaijitsu. Kendra says, well, we just got through all of your late father's paperwork, and I don't know how to say this. And the lawyer pipes up, Amiko, you are not the only remaining heir, he points out. And Amiko's confused, and she asks, okay, well, I am, because, you know, my brother is gone, my mother is gone, and so is my father, so I don't know what you're asking about. And he points out on the paper, he says, you have another sibling, and he's in Magnamar, and we're going to need to have him here because the last will and testament states that the estate will be split among all 3 of his remaining children.
Fascinating.
You know that face calculation meme where they're like trying to do numbers? Yeah, Amiko's doing that face. Says, my father, okay, she's, she thinks, okay, do we have a name? He goes, well, yes, but not a location. It just says he's in Magnamar. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I lost where I wrote down his name, and I don't have it.
Let me see if I can find something. 1 second.
Yeah, no, she has a secret brother or something, and the big scandalous thing is the lawyer will explain that years and years ago, shortly after the birth of Pseudo, he had another child with a different woman. And that is hugely scandalous, especially for them, because Pseudo was locked away in the orphanage because of the infidelity that her mother had. And she goes, my father actually wrote that in his will. And the lawyer points out, yes, turns out that near the end of his life, he felt guilt about essentially not treating you as well as he could have. So he points out that Pseudo, Amiko, and this third sibling were getting equal shares in the estate. They're willing to give, essentially, the state's in lockdown until this other brother can be produced. She thinks for a moment, and the lawyer says, essentially, you have 6 months to produce the brother. Otherwise, they're going to essentially sell off the estate.
Foreclose?
Essentially, yeah. The business will be ran by the officers of the glassworks, but until then, Amiko will not see a single copper of that.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a half-sister. My bad.
Oh!
It's a half-sister. I keep saying brother.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, yeah, he got around a bit, I see.
Evidently.
Apparently, Longico felt like was owed payback.
Essentially, yeah. She points out, yeah, he never quite forgave her mother for cuckolding him. And I guess he went and got his.
If it wasn't for impotence wrought from his old age, I'd say it was his mother who taught him to lie down and push a rope.
Amiko, a little surprised by this. Yeah, I've got nothing good to say about him either. Well, you guys kind of awkwardly pick up the papers and conclude the meeting.
So, I guess this means we need to head to Magnamar. I think I might need to write a letter.
You guys pick up your stuff. You head out. Amiko's not saying much, but the slow walk back to the tavern. Yeah. It's another day in Sandpoint. Ranrua, you take your leave and you head to the cat house?
Yes.
Amiko walks in. Uxio, are you going to stay over, or what are you planning on doing?
I figure she'll probably need someone there in case it all hits her at once. So yeah, he's probably going to stay at the Rusty Dragon tonight.
Yep. You guys walk inside, and standing there, or well, not standing there, but at one of the tables with a pile of books again. The floating disc still actually there, now that I think about it, is holding the rest of them. Alexandria just gives a wave as everyone walks inside.
I'm trying to think on how much...
Uxio, this is my mother, Alexandria. Alexandria, this is Uxio.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And she looks up and goes, "Oh, likewise." She gives a strong and firm handshake, not really getting up, doing that like half stand-up thing. Yes, Bella's taught me all about you. And yeah, that's
an interesting choice of words.
Well, no, you share in her power, correct? You're also a paragon, right?
I'm gonna just real quick roll something, see how noticeable it is when he flinches at that.
Sure.
Guess that would probably be
save.
diplomacy to... Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't flinch.
Yeah, he's standing tough right now.
Yeah. Yes, that is accurate. The two of us are... Do we count... I don't think Hecht is a paragon, is she?
I don't know with Hecht. She's... I don't know.
To be perfectly honest, when it comes to being paragon, I still think that Bella got the better end of the deal.
Oh, I'm certainly sure. She points out, history shows that vampires don't have... Well, I suppose...
Don't have much positive history.
That's funny. She points out that you get negative energy. Yeah, that's really funny.
That wasn't meant as a joke. I was meaning you don't really hear about vampires in a positive light in the history books.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Other parts of the world celebrate their vampires. In fact, many of them are nobility. She points out and says, I would like to give you a once-over as well. I'd be very interested to see how Bella's necklace affected you personally, but she gives you a once-over. I suspect you have had a day.
Honestly, it's been less of a day for me than it has for yours.
Very well. Perhaps when you're refreshed. I have been poring over books, and by gosh, I'm very fascinated about... Anyway, I have rented out the tavern, so if you are here for... I don't know, if you're here, technically I... And then Amiko points out, he's staying with me. Ah!
And if it's not too forward, Uxio is going to hold her hand as just like a silent confirmation of why.
Very well. I will take the opposite room, or the opposite side of the tavern. One of the keys just like drops on the table from the invisible servant. With that, Amika will just kind of gently pull you to her room.
How are you holding up? That was a lot of information.
Right now, it's Bella's turn.
Okay. Fair. I'm good.
Right, so since it's just me, my mother, and Evan, Bella's going to sit down next to her mother and be like, so, now that we're more alone, you want to tell me what's been going on?
What do you mean, dear?
You and I both know we didn't have a large pile of gold left over from your adventuring days.
She stops taking notes, and she says, "You're right. That is what I always told you and your siblings. Truth is, I've not been a great mother to you." She looks at you and says, "Do you know how steel is made, dear?"
More or less. You heat up iron, mix in some other stuff, and it gets stronger.
Yes, fire, pressure, and constant beatings. Steel is made when metal and stone is put under immense pressure. And for you, I've only ever wanted the finest steel. And now that you've come out as this beautiful, powerful axe, I think it's time you knew more. She pulls out a bag of holding, and inside, she pulls out a tome, and this tome looks old as it's wrapped in some kind of I don't know, binding, but on the cover is a Sahedron rune.
What is this?
She puts it on the table and says, "One of the reasons we stayed in Varisia is because of these rumored rune wells. Your father and I spent many, many years investigating them, and I always suspected that you might be able to help us complete our work. Call it a hunch."
What did you do?
Sorry?
I said, what did you do?
Nothing. It was just a hunch. I had you and your siblings, and I just saw something in you. And I suspected great things. This book is Runelord.
Alasnist?
Thank you!
Alasnist.
God damn it!
Alasnist.
This is Runelord Alasnist diary. And it's my gift to you.
I am...
If you want to be angry at me, I understand. I've spent a good amount of your life not making it easy, and I'm going to make up for that, at least in the way that I can. If you need anything, let me know. I won't complete any task that you have, but if you need some kind of support, just call me, dear.
Bella, whose hand is shaking at the moment, says, I need some time alone. She's going to get up and leave. if no one stops her, she's going to go out into the woods, and she is just going to destroy everything in her path when she thinks she's far enough away.
Smokey will remember that. Bella, after felling your, I don't know, 1d6 plus 2 trees.
Oh, she's burning all of her rages, her mythic power for this. She's going berserk out in this woods.
Let's change that to 1d8 plus 2 trees.
There, 6 trees.
On your 6th felled tree, you hear a ah! as the tree falls, and you hear someone shout.
Who the f*** else is out here?
Sorry, my bad. Holy.
Go away.
He says, is that a good idea?
I don't care.
Bella, I've known you forever, just... He's stumbling, I'm going to be right here. And he kind of stands defiant against you. I'm gonna be right here.
Fine. Do what you want. She's gonna turn around and go find something bigger to break.
As you're, strutting through the woods, Evan is, following behind you. It is not hard to notice that he is tracking you as best he can and just kind of robotically avoiding your gaze. You find... Give me a survival, perception, or geography.
Looks like survival and perception are both the same, so we'll roll survival. Not great.
As you're steaming along, just once in a while, you'll just swing with the axe and then, chop halfway through a tree. But since it didn't fell in one go, you just get kind of annoyed and you start walking again. You're just kind of, swinging wildly and angrily. And as you're walking through, Evan stops you. He carefully, taps you on the shoulder.
What?
And he points to a gigantic felled tree.
What about it?
He says, why don't we take that and be more productive with it? And he starts going through his equipment, and he pulls out that 2-person saw thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he says, why don't we cut up that a bit?
Fine. Don't care how I break things right now.
You guys go over to the log and give me a will save. Okay.
Yeah, Bella's not particularly good in that department.
Definitely not. But as you are doing it, he's trying to keep up with you, but you're and like a cartoon, he flies out, and as you pull him forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you do start making a small pile of logs, and they're, thanks to Evan's guidance, I guess, you know what I mean? You're just kind of pure physicality right now, but he's been telling you to all right, cut here, those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
And without saying much, he's just giving you basic directions. Give me a profession lumberjack.
Oh, would that masterwork axe I got back in the glassworks apply to this?
Sure. We could call that a tool, yeah. As you're chopping and setting things up, you realize that Evan is making you saw out useful logs. As you're doing things, it's not firewood that you're making. By the time you're done, you've managed to create a small pile of usable housing logs.
Some proper lumber.
Proper lumber. This goes on for a while, and eventually you have obtained... Go ahead and give me a D100. You've made about 43 gold pieces worth of usable housing lumber, and this is pretty much taking up your whole day.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you guys, I guess, break, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, Bella will probably start to get a bit tired at some point, which is mostly what she's been after, is just working herself until she's just worn out.
Yep. He gives you like a small lunch bag, and he passes you a flask.
Thanks, and Bella will take a large swig of whatever it is, not bothering to check first.
It is very strong vodka.
Okay.
He said, I just liberated it from Amiko's pantry. I hope she doesn't notice. And then later, like, Uxio and Amiko are, like, in the room, and Amiko's like, someone stole my food! Like she's, like, crying.
Someone stole my good booze!
Evan's like, I'm sure it's the cheap stuff.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Well, there's probably not going to be much left by the time Bella's done.
Probably also depends on what the flask looks like.
Evan...
Miko probably hid her good stuff in a cheap-looking flask specifically so that if someone robbed her of her good booze, they wouldn't find it.
That's a pretty Amiko thing to do, to be honest. Like,
Okay. So, cheap flask, good booze. Got it.
booze. Evan sitting down with you, he's like,
Yeah, I don't fully know how you feel right now, with all the stuff going on and your mother showing up. But if you need anything, I ain't going nowhere. I don't have anybody at home, and it's like Hecht said, I need to be a better friend to you. And I am sorry. I just kind of been, I don't know, out of my comfort zone since we got mixed up in everything.
It's alright. You've been a good help, actually. I know I don't say it much to you, but I do appreciate having you around.
he smiles and says,
And I appreciate hearing that. And plus,
he points to the pile of lumber that you guys made.
you know, we could probably get some zoning permits. Probably pull a few, hey, we're the Angles of Sandpoint kind of thing. And just build a house here in Sandpoint.
I suppose we could. But I do have that little apartment until it's done, I suppose.
Gonna need a place to crash.
He smiles. With a stick, he's drawing on the ground like some very rudimentary floor plans. He's like,
And then over here, you've got your personal gym, because I assume you're gonna need that. Then over here, we got the kitchen, and then you got your Mythic Angel lab.
The what?
I don't know what Mythic people do.
If I know either.
Maybe your mom does. Might be too soon for me to bring her up. But she seems to know a lot about this Mythic stuff.
Ugh, I bet she does. 6 years I worked my ass off for some hunch she had. Maybe I didn't want to go into this.
he starts thinking for a moment, and he's like,
Well, how do you feel right now? Like in terms of what you can do?
I mean, yes, I feel incredibly powerful, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have wanted that, you know?
Who knows? But let me put it this way. We can all look back at the different possibilities in life. I certainly didn't want to be a lumberjack growing up, but what would I do about that now? Perhaps if I had smart parents, I could be a miserable academic, working away in a big city. But what I do know is being a lumberjack. It makes me fit, it keeps me healthy, and while I'm doing it, I do like it. And I always got the impression you at least liked being a lumberjack too.
I made myself like the work.
All right. Do you like adventuring?
That's
part of the reason for staying out here was to find out.
Sure, that was one reason we stayed in Sandpoint. But do you like it? Simple question.
Yeah, I guess I do. It's been fun.
Yeah, and obviously you didn't know you were going to like it when we stayed. And look at you now. You turned out to be pretty damn good at it because you spent 6 fucking years building your strength for it, being a lumberjack.
I mean, yeah. But maybe I could have been a sorcerer instead if I didn't. Maybe being a sorcerer would have been fun.
Then go be a sorcerer. Your mom just gave you a big magic book, didn't she?
I guess she did.
You'd probably be good at it. But that is not who you are now. That is not what you've been trained to be. And while you sit next to me, thinking away of a possible other version of you that sat at a desk, reading and learning magic, that other you is probably thinking, would it be more fun being outside? But who gives a shit on what you had to do to get to where you are now? You're still young. You're still strong. Go do whatever now. Plus, your mom's loaded. You could probably...
He's like rubbing his fingers together as if holding 2 coins.
You know.
Yeah, going to ask about that. Still, she's going to have to explain a lot to me.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you go confront your mom about all your questions, I will be there to back you up the entire time.
He says, like, standing like a superhero.
About 3 feet behind you.
Better idea. Maybe have Uxio there too, in case I lose it.
Are you saying I couldn't hold you back now that you're Miss Powerful Angel of Sandpoint?
He smiles, like knowing.
Ella will just give him a smile in return without giving a word back.
All right, Miss Powerful. We need a place to store all this lumber, and I didn't consider a cart when I headed out after you.
What are the odds someone's going to walk off with all this wood in the middle of nowhere?
Good point.
Worst case, we just cut down another tree.
True. Now, what to do now? Do you want to check out your new apartment?
Yeah. While we're staying there, we should at least clean it up. Make it look nice, maybe... Well, we did just cut a bunch of wood. Maybe we can make some nice furniture for us to use.
Us?
I mean... You can stay with me if you want. Probably won't be comfortable with how small it is, but I'm sorry. I kind of assumed out of habit. We've been working together so long that why wouldn't we be roommates? We already know each other well enough. But if that makes you uncomfortable...
No, I wouldn't be uncomfortable. I can make it work. I got a sleeping bag. I've got other things. Yeah, I can make it work. Or I can. Yeah, that will be best. Please let me stay with you. Please don't say I messed this up. I have nowhere else to go. Your mom rented out the whole goddamn tavern. You know, it would be convenient, at least for tonight, I mean. That would be wonderful. Thank you. I don't know if the other inn has any open rooms.
It probably does, but they probably wouldn't give either of us one.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, Foxglove kind of, yeah.
Here, let me help you up, so you can lead the way, Miss Mythic Angel.
He extends a hand to help you up, and he's willing to, he's gonna walk back with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bella's not up to talking to her mother tonight just yet.
Alright. After some time, you do eventually make it back to your apartment. It is a mess, but you guys managed to sweep it up, do all that stuff, get it working.
I imagine we probably have had to rough it on, like, long-term logging jobs before.
True.
So this is probably not terrible, all things considered.
You make it good for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Uxio, you and Amiko are in her room. This is not a romantic evening.
Right. Yeah. Given the nature of how we found out we need to go to Magnamar, Uxio's not going to object to her traveling with the angels because this is her thing that's causing us to go.
Laying in her bed, she's not saying much. She's just... Do you know what I mean by the waifu snuggle?
Where you're cuddling, but you're not getting physical, if that makes sense.
Yeah, she's... I don't know how to describe it. She's doing that, and she's, like, very quiet, but once in a while she is crying.
Uxio is doing his best to calmly rub her back when he notices that she's crying.
Yeah. After a couple hours of this, you do have to get up to pee, and she'll be like, she's like, go get the good stuff, and then you find it's gone. It's in a cheap ass looking flask. I hid it that way.
There's no cheap-ass looking flask down there.
No, this night couldn't get worse.
I mean, the end's still standing. Goes to make sure that Bella's mom hasn't caused any arcane experiment that started a fire.
No, in fact, she's kind of sitting there, like, not really moving.
That's weird, but mages, so Uxio doesn't understand enough to really question it.
Yep, no problem. You eventually find something, and she drinks enough to calm down, but essentially this is a quiet, calm night. You guys fall asleep in each other's arms. Ebor shows up right on time, of course. Like, this man has never been more punctual for anything in his life. He is ready. He's got several potions.
Oh, we're gonna burn all of those.
Yeah. He's got several potions. You could use an Arcana check to see if you can determine what they are.
Sure, let's see what the potion. That is 21.
There are variant rules for this, but essentially they're stamina potions.
Oh, you won't need any of those.
Okay. All right, so you are going to essentially punish this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just give me what you think is the most appropriate roll? I will do a contesting roll and see where it goes. I wasn't expecting that. All right.
Might want to keep him around, actually.
He was ready for that shit.
Okay.
Oh snap! He might break you.
No, he Uno reversed
no.
that.
Not sure I like that. Maybe I'll burn a destiny roll because I have used the least. Maybe. Nah. It'd be like, it's funny enough. It's funny enough.
This man.
God damn.
This man prepped. Like,
damn, he really did.
He really did. After 3 hours, he got no.
I wanted him dead, though.
No, you're left in the dust. You are just like laying there, absolutely flabbergasted.
Like, not. Oh, it's not intended to be that way.